Hi, welcome. My name is Donna, Yoga for You. I have gotten a lot of requests recently from my students with the studio, and they're requesting a core class. And I love core. Those of you that know me, those of you that take my classes, know how much I enjoy core work. So today, that's what we're going to focus on. The body's core refers to the muscles around the abdomen, pelvis, and back, and these are the spine's primary stabilizers. The core muscles are almost always active. When we sit, we run, even when we lie down, when we have to get up. So the core muscles are worked all the time. We oftentimes think of the core as being the six-pack muscles. But in fact, there's a lot of other deeper muscles that are equally, if not even more important than just what we see in the six pack. So in today's class, we're going to work the core from different angles to really try to access some of those different core muscles. So I'm going to invite you to begin the practice lying on your belly. So we're going to come into a prone position. You can stack your hands if you'd like, one on top of the other. Rest your forehead. Now, some of you might be more comfortable allowing the toes to point back behind you. Some of you might like to take the legs a little wider and allow the toes to turn outwards. And this is called crocodile pose in our yoga practice. So whatever feels best for you. I'm going to point my toes directly back behind me, only because that makes me, gives me a little more space in my lower back and the lumbar region. So just close your eyes and begin to settle in here. Allow the breath to begin to deepen. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. See if you can find an even rhythm to your breath here. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. If you find you might be having a little difficulty finding an even rhythm, just start to add a little silent count to the breath. Breathing in for a count of 4, breathing out for a count of 4. In Sanskrit, this is referred to as samavriti, or equal movement. Now check in as the breath becomes equal and even, that you're breathing diaphragmatically. So feel the lower belly gently expanding with the inhale, contracting with the exhale. And I had you begin lying on your belly in this prone position so that you can feel the resistance of the floor as you breathe. So as you inhale, feel the abdomen gently expand into the floor beneath you. Feel it gently contract back. Breathing in and breathing out. There are a lot of muscles in our back body, along our spine, in the lower back, a lot of muscles to help to protect the back through our daily movements. So we're going to just do a few exercises here to strengthen the muscles in the back. Let's begin keeping your forehead resting on those stacked hands. Gently press your pubic bone down into the floor, just real gently. And you'll feel the lengthening of your tailbone in the direction of the heels.
And from this space, we're going to just lift the legs up. So lift those legs, those feet off the floor. And let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And float those feet back down to the mat. Take a breath. Exhaling fully, gently press the pubic bone down to lengthen the spine. Lift those legs back up again. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release them back down. Wiggle your hips a little side to side. One more time like this. Inhale. Exhale, press the pubic bone down. Inhale, lift the legs up. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release. And wiggle your hips a little side to side. Good. Now slide your hands to frame your chest. Roll your shoulders up and back and start to hug your elbows in towards the body or towards midline. Keeping your feet down, once again, press your pubic bone down. Inhale, begin to peel your ribs and chest up. Keep your gaze down. If we look forward and jut the chin forward, that compresses the vertebra of the cervical spine. So look down, hold. Now try to lift your hands off the mat. Take one more breath here. Exhale, release down. Wiggle your hips, releasing any residual tension in the lower back. Bring your hands to frame your chest, shoulders roll up and back, elbows hug in towards midline. Press your pubic bone down, here we go. Lift the ribs up, the chest up, float your hands. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Wiggle a little, breathe. Last set like this, hands to frame the chest, shoulders back, press your pubic bone down, peel your torso up, float your hands. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Wiggle again. Make sure that you're breathing throughout this. Last one, we're going to sweep the hands back by the hips. Now roll your shoulders up towards the ceiling. Turn your palms down towards the mat. Make sure that the gaze stays down and you're not jutting your chin forward. Entire body is going to lift. Now inhale here. Exhale, press your pubic bone down, lengthen tailbone. Inhale, lift your legs, lift your hands, and peel your chest up. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Wiggle your hips. That's full locust or shalabhasana. Take one more breath here. And we're going to make our way onto our back. So just go ahead and roll over onto your back. And I'm going to flip around a little bit here. So extend your legs straight. Stretch your arms over your head. And then bring your hands down and see if you can find those frontal hip bones called the ASIS joint. Find those. And if you drop your fingers just inside those hip bones, where it becomes a little soft, you're going to feel the location of the transversus abdominis muscles. So the transversus abdominis muscles are the deepest layer of abdominal muscles that you have. And they run front to back. They run from the ribs to the pelvis. So they work as a weight belt. They help to work with the strength of the pelvic floor, protecting the lumbar spine. Now release your hands down by your side. Draw your lower abdomen in. So what I call this is zipping your snug jeans. If, like me, you might have grown up in the 70s and the whole idea was wearing jeans so tight you had to lie on the bed and use pliers to get the jeans zipped up, you know what I'm talking about. If you do not, just figure it out. So imagine you're zipping some really tight jeans from pubic bone to navel. Draw down into that transversus abdominis. Now flex your feet so the toes point up. Draw down, sides of the waistline pull down towards the floor. I am not necessarily trying to flatten my lower back out. I want to maintain a natural curve, but I am engaging my core muscles. And see if you can lift your feet or heels off the floor. Pause here. Notice how the lower back wants to arch up. Don't let that happen because we lose that connection to core. Pull in. Zip those snug jeans. Hold and release. Ooh, shake that out. Breathe in. Sweep the arms overhead. Exhale. Bring your hands back by your hips. Flex your feet again. Now, once again, zip those snug jeans. Draw the sides of your waistline down towards the mat and lift your heels up. And hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and set it down. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, nice stretch. Exhale, bring them back down. One more time, flex the feet, zip up your jeans, and lift your heels. Hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, open your mouth, sigh that out, release it. And now bend your knees and plant your feet on the mat. Place your palms on that space where I asked you to zip up your jeans. So between pubic bone and navel, just inside the right and left frontal hip bones, and feel this space. So we're going to do an exercise, and this is called the pelvic clock, all right? And it's to work and access these very deep abdominal muscles called the transversus abdominis. So this takes some visualization. If you don't get it right away, don't get too caught up in it. You'll get it. So I want you to imagine that you have a big clock. Yes, a big clock lying on your abdomen. Your pubic bone is 12 o'clock. Your navel is 6 o'clock. Your right hip would be 3 o'clock, and your left hip would be 9 o'clock. So when I call out the numbers, I want you to try to press down, draw down into that particular number without letting the whole body move with you. So relax your hands by your hips, and here we go. Press down into 12 o'clock. So your pubic bone will press towards the floor, and your lower back will arch away from the floor. Now do the opposite. Press down into 6 o'clock. That's your navel. Your navel will draw down, and you'll feel your tail lift up a little bit. And now return to neutral. And we're going to take it all the way around the clock. Press down into 12 o'clock. Pubic bone down. Move to 1, 2, 3 o'clock, your right hip. 4, 5, 6 o'clock, your navel. 7, 8, 9, left hip. 10, 11, 12, pubic bone, nice arch, and release. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's do this one more time, but we're going to go counterclockwise. Press down into 12 o'clock, pubic bone, back will arch. Move to your left, 11 o'clock, 10, 9 o'clock, left hip, 8, 7, 6, navel, 5, 4, 3, right hip, 2, 1, 12 o'clock, arch the back and relax. Take a deep breath in through the nose and sigh it out. One more time, breath in through the nose and sigh it out. Now continuing to work on these deep abdominal muscles at the transversus, we're going to do some heel slides. So everyone, zip up your jeans. When we zip up our jeans, we're not sucking down the upper abdominals to make it more difficult for us to take a deep breath. We're drawing in the lower abdominals. So zip up those jeans, lift your right toes up to the ceiling, and from the action of the lower abdominals, slowly slide your right heel out the length of your mat. And once the leg is extended, slowly pull that right heel back in to space and set it down. Keep those jeans zipped, lift your left toes up to the ceiling, the heel remains on the mat. Start to slowly press the left heel away from you. Leg becomes extended. Now slowly pull the left heel back in towards the hips. And release. All lower abdominal work. Now you can do it one more time just like that, or if you want a little bit more of a challenge, this time lift your right heel just a couple inches off the mat and flex your foot. Zip up your jeans. Now push your right heel away from you, pressing it towards the front of your mat. And then slowly pull it back in. And set it down. Lift your left heel up, flex the foot. Press that left heel away. And slowly pull it back in. And set it down. Heel toe your feet wide. Take your arms wide and just a really gentle little windshield wiper action here. Keep breathing. Now we're going to work into some toe taps. We're still working the same thing, those deep abdominal muscles. This time, lift those feet off the floor. Now, the closer the knees hover towards the ribs or the torso, the easier it is. So take your knees and move them away from the torso and see if you can stack them perpendicular over the hips. Then flex your feet strongly. Now draw the further those thighs move away from the torso, the more you want to arch the back. So zip up your jeans, draw the sides of the waistline down, and we're going to take your right heel and we're going to reach it out and tap it and bring it right back to center. Left and tap and center. Now if you've got lower back issues, you're going to tap closer to the hips. Or as you get stronger, you can start to tap all the way out along the mat. So we're tapping and center, tapping and center. Watch that you're not overarching the lower back because then we're losing connection to core. If you start to do that, perhaps stop for a moment and then rejoin. So let's go for 5 more. That's 5. Tap. Tap 4. Tap. Tap. 3. Tap. Tap. 2. Tap. Tap. And 1. And hug those knees in, rock a little bit. Make sure you're not holding your breath as you practice. Now one more step like that. So we're going to align the legs and flex the feet. So I'm making a little square shape here. Zip up your jeans. Draw the sides of your waistline down. Now, if your back's bothering you, one heel at a time like we just did. Otherwise, we're going to try to use both heels. So I'm going to reach out and tap and come back. Tap and come back. Notice my knees aren't coming in too close to my torso. Watch the lower back. The longer we move this fulcrum point through the body, the harder it becomes. And let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and 1. And then hug that in. Rock a little side to side. Make sure you're still breathing. And set those legs down. So extend the legs all the way out once again. Inhale, stretch the arms overhead. Sweep the hands down. We're going to do a pose that in yoga we call this the canoe pose. Okay? Again, zip your jeans. Draw the sides of your waistline down. Now, as long as it doesn't bother your neck, your cervical spine, peel your head and shoulders up and look down the length of your body. Reach those fingertips towards those feet and then try to lift those heels off the mat. Everything in my torso is being drawn down as I lift up. And we're going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Rock your head side to side. Now, if this is bothering your neck, you can always bring one hand up, support the head, both hands, or choose to leave your head lying on the mat and so that it's supported. Here we go again. Zip up your core, peel your head and shoulders up, look down the length of the body. Lift your hands, lift your feet, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Rock your head side to side. We're going to do one more, and I'm going to offer you a little bit more challenge if you want to accept it. And that is try reaching your arms overhead as the body lifts. Once again, we're changing that fulcrum point, that leverage. So here we go. Zip up your core. Peel your head and shoulders up. Lift the feet. Now, if you want, reach your arms overhead and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Rock your head. Now, if you're practicing that and you're like, oh, Donna, this is killing my lower back, then you would do the same thing, but bring the knees in a little bit so that you don't have as much pressure on that lower back. Always options. All right, last one, we're going to work really concentrating on these lower deep abdominal muscles. So we're going to extend the feet towards the ceiling, and I'm trying to keep the feet perpendicular over my hips. Flex your feet, so we're drawing action, muscular action. Hands, you can wiggle your thumbs underneath your buttocks, okay, your tushy, so that you're offering a little more support for the lower back. Now, if you need to, you can keep your knees bent to a degree. Otherwise, legs straight, entirely up to you. I can't see you. You do what you need to do. Here we go. Zip up your core. Everything draws down. We're going to lower that right leg right before it touches, and we're going to lift it right back up. And we're going to do lower left and lift it up. So right and left. Just slowly keep moving, alternating. Check in. Is your core really drawing down? And are you working from the lower abdominals? Feel like the mechanism to move your legs here is happening from that space in the lower abdominals. Let's do one more on each side. Bring it back up. Give yourself a little hug. Now this next set, I'm going to do it, we're going to try to do both legs. You can bend your knees if you'd like, flex those feet, zip everything in, and here we go. The lower the legs lower, the harder it becomes. Don't arch your lower back, and lift up. So we're going to lower down, don't hold your breath, and lift up. Breathe in and out. 3 more. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. 1 more round. Lower and lift. Oh, give it a hug. Rock around a little bit. So we're going to move on into what we know as, we always think of it as the six-pack. And this is the band of muscles. So the transverse abdominis, that weight belt, is the only horizontal load-bearing muscle there, okay? It goes across the abdomen. So now we're going to work into the six-pack, which is a vertical line of muscles that runs along the anterior abdominal wall, okay? And we know there's that line, the linea alba, that it's that strong tendinous sheath that divides down the middle, okay? So we're going to work into what we usually think of as that six-pack of muscles, okay? So coming back down, we're going to still zip up the core. Again, extend the legs up towards the ceiling. Now this time, I'm going to bring the hands behind my head. I'm not interlacing my hands because that gives me the tendency too much strength to pull. So I'm going to keep my fingers open and wide, just supporting the weight of my head like it's a little hammock. Flex your feet. Make sure you're zipped up. So we're going to take the right foot and we're going to split it a little. So we're going to drop it. We're going to curl up. As I curl up, I'm pulling down. I'm going to curl up, pause, and curl up higher. And release. 2 more like that. Curl up, release. 1 more. Curl up, and release. Now take that right foot and split it a little more. If you need to bring the foot down to the floor, please do so. Here we go. Curl up, release. Curl up, release. Last one. Curl up, release. Last set. I'm going to split my legs a long way. You don't have to. Here we go. Curl up, release. Curl up, release. 1 more. Curl up, and release. Bring that leg back in. Give yourself a little love. Breathe. Notice if you've been holding your breath. And we'll go on to that second side. So lift those legs up, flex the feet. I'm going to support my head here. This time the left foot is going to drop a little, split the legs. Zip up your core, and here we go. Curl up, release. Curl up, release. 1 more. Curl up, release. Now split the legs more. Curl up, release. Curl up, release. 1 more. Curl up, release. Last set. Drop that left leg, and here we go. Curl up, release. Curl up, release. Last one. Curl up, and release. Bring that leg back up and give yourself some love. Breathing. And then setting those feet down on the floor. Bring those hands in. Once again, keep your fingers apart. Just support the head. Bring them back and then let the head become heavy in the hands. So we're not cranking on that neck. Elbows open wide. The more the elbows start to shift inwards towards midline, the more we find ourselves pulling on our heads. So elbows wide. See if you can gaze up at the ceiling. Again, Draw down through the core, zip it up. And we're going to do a 3-count crunch. So come up a little bit, come up a little bit more, and come up a little bit more. Pause and lower down. Again, come up 1, 2, 3, and lower down. One more like this. Come up 1, 2, 3, and lower down. Let's reverse this. We're going to come up and lower for 3. So here we go. Come up, lower 1, 2, and 3. Again, curl up, lower 1, 2, and 3. Last one, curl up and lower 1, 2, and 3. Stretch the legs out, stretch the arms, interlace your fingers, spin your palms to face away from you, and take a nice long stretch. Take a deep breath in, sigh it out. One more time, breathe in, and sigh it out. So what I'd like to work on now is we're going to do a little round the world. So it's going to start not only working on the rectus abdominis, the 6-pack, but working on those obliques. And they run on each side of the rectus abdominis, okay? So let's once again support the head. No interlacing the hands. Support the head, elbows open wide, gaze is up. Zip up your core. Now curl up through center, roll yourself to the right, all the way around in a circle and back, and then release. Curl up, center, roll to the left, and release. Let's do a few more. Center, rotate to the right, and down. Center, rotate left, and down. Let's do 2 more. Up, right, down, up, left, and down. Stretch those legs out, interlace the hands, spin them back, long stretch. Take a deep breath in, let it out. One more time, take a deep breath in, let it out. Nice. So let's do a little working the obliques, a little bit of scissors here. Now, I'm not expecting you to do all of these exercises all the time together. It's a lot. So maybe you pick a few of them each day, and you can break the entire class up to suit you. Okay. So hands, again, we're going to support, elbows open wide. Lift those knees up. Now stack those knees over the hips. Zip up so you're not overarching the back. Draw these front ribs down towards the mat. Now this time, the left leg is going to extend straight. You're going to curl up through center and then twist left elbow to right knee. Come back center and then everything releases. So it's very controlled action. Here we go. Right leg extends, come up through center, twist, center, and back. Come up, twist, center, and back. Our right leg is extending now. Center, twist, center, release left leg. Center, twist, center, release a few more. Right leg, center, twist, center, down. Left leg, center, twist, center, down. Last set, right leg, center, twist, center, down. Left leg, center, twist, center, and down. Hug it in. Rock a little side to side. Now extend the legs out straight. Reach your arms overhead. If you've got any lower back issues going on, this may not be a good option for you. If that's the case, just hug your knees and rock yourself up. Otherwise, reach the arms overhead. Now reach your hands towards the ceiling. Start to peel your head and shoulders up. Peel your body up, and you're going to get that sticking point and rise. Now slowly use core. Lower it back down and stretch. It takes a little getting used to. Reach your arms up. Start to peel yourself up. Reach one more time. We're going to lower it back down. Stretch, and here we go. Reach and peel up and release. Nice work. Make your way to all fours or that tabletop position. Now our tabletop should not resemble this cow where we've just collapsed or the rounding at first. Tabletop is neutral. So those front ribs need to pull in. You're zipping those snug jeans. Shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. Let's do a couple cat-cows just to get a balanced action through that core. Inhale into your cow. Lift your chest, look forward. Exhale into that Halloween cat shape, round. Really pull your navel in towards your spine. Keep going. Breathe in, open the front body. Exhale, move into the back body. Let's do two more. Last one. Now inhale your way back to neutral. So we know what neutral is. Take your right leg and reach it back behind you and flex the foot so the toes are rotating downwards. That way it's not allowing the right hip to rise higher than the left, which could cause us some SI joint issues. So keep those toes down. Now check in if you've just collapsed your ribs and belly. Lift them up and then reach your left hand forward. We call this bird dog in yoga. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Take that left leg out, rotate the toes down so the hip drops. Check in with your front body, pull it in, and reach your right hand forward. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release down. That is a really nice exercise that isn't too complicated, that you can do to not only strengthen the front of the body, the core, but the core muscles on the back of the body as well. And we want this balanced action. All right, so coming back to all fours, check in, pull in, ribs drawing in, like you're corseting them together. Zip those snug jeans. Now this time, curl your toes under. Instead of dropping your head, we call it the texting head, or I call it the texting head. Lift your gaze slightly forward so the spine remains elongated. Now, as long as you don't have any wrist issues, see if you can lift your knees just a couple inches off the mat. Now hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Drop those hips back. Child's pose, Balasana. Now once again, shift forward. Check in with core. Lift it up. Curl your toes under. And here we go. Gaze slightly forward. Lift those knees. Now hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set them down. Child's pose. If you want to rotate your wrist a little weight bearing on the wrist, go ahead and do that. Maybe gently shake it out. So when we're doing these kind of planks, whether it's in tabletop and we're just lifting the knees or it's a full plank, forearm plank, we can feel how all the muscles of the core kind of corset in. So important for creating that balanced action in our core. So now let's come right back down onto our bellies where we started practice and come into Sphinx pose. So check that your elbows didn't sweep wide. They're right underneath the shoulders. Then soften the tops of the shoulder heads away from the ears.
We're going to practice here. We're just going to stay here just for a few breaths. Then we're going to practice rolling up. So my first few roll-ups, we'll do 3. I'm only going to make my way to my knees. So I want you to think about your entire front body. And piece by piece, we're going to roll it off of the floor. So don't let your head drop. Look slightly maybe towards your thumbs. Now try to lift those bottom edges of the ribs off the mat. Lift your abdomen up. Start to lift your hips up. Lift your thighs up. So now we're just balancing on the forearms and on the knees. Hold. Now slowly lower down. Thighs, hips and pelvis, low abdomen, and those bottom ribs. Breathe here. We're going to do that again. Begin to peel yourself up. Bottom ribs, abdomen, pelvis and hips, thighs. The tailbone is lengthening towards the heels, not lifting up in the body. And just as slowly, release yourself back down. Now we're going to do that one more time. Start to peel yourself off of the mat and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower. All right, we're going to do that one more time. Now this time I'm going to give you the option to lift your knees off the mat, so the toes will have to curl under here. Shoulders relaxed. Here we go. Slowly start to peel the ribs, abdomen, pelvis and hips, thighs. Now curl your toes under and lift those knees. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees and slowly release. Stack your hands. Wiggle your hips. And we're just going to go right into one last forearm plank. And I'm not even going to ask you to peel yourself up here. So you can interlace your hands if you prefer, making sure the elbows are beneath the shoulders to offer support for the shoulders, those rotator cuffs, or hands can be out in that sphinx-like pose. I'm going to interlace my hands, relax my shoulders, and curl my toes under. Now when I lift here, I'm lifting from the space below my navel. So find about 2 inches below your navel. It's referred to as the hara. Find that and imagine that is where you're lifting from. So here we go. Find your hara and lift up from there. Tailbone reaches towards the heels. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Oh, wiggle those hips a little. Find that breath. Roll onto your right side. And again, make sure that your elbow is directly underneath the shoulder to offer support for that shoulder joint. Look down the length of your body like you're making a little torpedo shape. So your butt's not out behind you. Find length and flex your feet. So stack your feet. This would be almost as if you were standing up and you had your toes lifted off the floor. So same idea, you can use your left-handed front to offer a little support. We're going to push the floor away from us. Bring your left hand to your hip or leave it on the floor. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Let's do that second side. Now you can always do more of these if you want. If you're breaking this class up into segments, maybe you're doing a few exercises each day, you can always do more of these. So I'm setting myself up. I've got my torpedo shape. My bum's not leaning back. My right hip isn't rolling back. Stack your right hip directly over your left hip. Push the floor away, lift up. Hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release down. Ah, I am still finding Christmas hooks all over the house. Hooks, and of course I still have my little tree up, but I know, I digress, but I could feel it. I felt something was there. So make your way to all fours again. Wrist creases face forward towards the front of your mat if you're using a mat. Shoulders slide away from the ears, and wrap your armpits in towards the body, like you're gonna sniff your own armpits. So wrap your armpits slightly in. Curl your toes under. Now, if you're not practicing downward facing dog, that's fine. You can always stretch back and do more or less a puppy type pose. But otherwise, we're gonna lift up and press back to dog pose. So remember the front body. We're still, those bottom ribs, you wanna pull them in. You don't wanna let them just hang out. So draw your bottom ribs in. Zip up your tight jeans. Check in with your armpits like you're gonna take a little sniff. Roll them in. Now from here, we're gonna ripple forward. So round up, come up onto your tippy toes and ripple forward into plank. Gaze looks slightly forward. Push through so you're not sagging your plank. And then ripple back. Downward facing dog. Let's do that 2 more times. Ripple forward. High plank. Ripple back. Down dog. 1 more time. Ripple forward, high plank. Ripple back, down dog. Take your right leg straight up behind you. Watch your right hip isn't rolling up. Level it out. Now draw your right knee in towards your nose like you're gonna kiss it. And press it back. Again, tuck it in. And press back. 1 more time. Really rise up onto your left hip toes. Pull up through your core. Press it back. As it rises, keep your hips level. Tuck left knee in towards nose. Round up. Press back. Again, tuck it in. Round up. Press back. This is the last one. Tuck it in. Round up. And press back. Release. Release down to your knees. Take your hips back. Come onto your elbows and roll out your wrist a few times. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Sigh it out. 1 more time. If you just heard a loud snorting, I promise it wasn't me. It was my big bull mastiff as she's lying up there sleeping, looking, kind of watching down on me doing the work. All right, here we go. Come back into down dog. Lift your right leg up. Now tuck it in just like we did. Look forward and see if you can step your right foot forward into a lunge. So a low lunge, we'd be dropping the knee. See if you can stand to the high lunge. Hug that right hip back. Draw those shoulders back. Feel like we're lengthening our spine. Now, only if it feels okay for you to do so, reach those hands forward. Keep hugging the outer right hip back towards the room behind you. Belly in, breathe here, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, release your left hand down. Right hand comes to your right hip. Pull it back. Lengthen your sternum forward and begin to revolve to the right. If you want to reach that right hand up, you can do so. Take 1 more breath. Release the right hand down to the mat. Step back, down dog. Inhale, left leg up. Tuck it in. Come high. Step the left foot through. Carry it through if need be. Hug the left hip back. Shoulders back, center of chest, sternum forward. Start to draw into your core, so zip it up and reach your hands forward. Hug this left hip back. When we stabilize the hips, that helps bring stability to this pose. Firm up your back leg, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release your right hand down. Left hand to hip, pull it back. Sternum forward, begin to revolve. One more breath. Exhale, hand down, step back, down dog. Now rise up onto your tippy toes, bend your knees, look forward, make your way to the front of your mat. Inhale, lift your heart, lengthen, shoulders back. Exhale, fold deep. Inhale, lengthen, add your arms, rise to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart. Oh. So finding this breath here. Breath in, breath out. I'm going to make a little adjustment here. This is what's so great about being live. We have all these little adjustments. So coming to stand, find your mountain pose. Make sure you're not locking your knees out. There should always be a softness behind the kneecaps. So we find our mountain pose. Find a steady breath. We want to develop, strengthen, and access our core in a balanced movement. So transversus abdominis, rectus abdominis, inner and outer obliques. And then these all wrap around to all these muscles that support the spine. We want to be able to move freely and do so with stability in our day-to-day lives. So take your right foot out to the right. Reach your left hand up to the left. Start to tilt yourself until the weight drops into the left foot, and see if you can lift your right foot up and flex it. I call this the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Breathe here. So I'm pulling in, zipping up my tight jeans, and lengthening my tail in the direction of the heels. And release down. Let's try that second side. Take the left foot out. Right arm is going to reach. Start to lean towards that right foot. Establish balance and lift that left foot up and flex it. Zip up your jeans, lengthen your tailbone, and pause. Don't pause the breath, keep breathing. One more breath, and release down. Shake that out. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, fold, step back to plank position. Now push up through the shoulders. Pull the ribs and belly in. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Rock forward. You can lower your knees if you'd like. Bend your elbows towards the ribs and lower down. Inhale, curl up. Shoulders relax back. Open the heart. Exhale, press back. Down dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step it through. This time spin your back heel down. Rise up. So I'm rising into warrior two position. Straighten your right leg. This is your front and right leg. Watch you don't lock it out. Bring your left hand to your hip. Hinge forward. Feel as if you're reaching for something. You're not reaching for something in front. You're reaching for something out to the side. Release your right hand. It can come right below the knee. Just don't push onto your own knee. Now wrap your right buttocks under. Feel that sits bone roll under. It'll roll this left hip open. And make your way into Trikonasana or triangle pose. You don't have to, your triangle doesn't have to be that low. You might be higher up than I am. Watch this frontal left hip bone doesn't tip forward. Roll it up towards the ceiling. Now take your left hand, turn your palm forward, and reach forward. If you want, I'm going to micro bend that right knee. I'm going to lift up and stretch. Breathe. One more breath. and release down. Lunge position, step back, plank. Breathe in, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, curl up, Bhujangasana. Exhale, press back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, step it through. Release your right heel, rise up. Now straighten your left leg. Okay, bring your right hand down to your hip. Reach forward. You're gonna feel that stretch in that inner left thigh. Bring that hand down to wherever it's comfortable, just not your own knee. Now take this left sits bone, wrap it under. Start to roll your torso open to the ceiling. So this right hip bone rolls open. And reach that hand up. Now take your right palm, turn it forward, reach forward. I'm going to micro bend this front knee because there's going to be a little more pressure, and reach that left hand up. Breathe here. And touch down. Step back, down dog. Lift your heels, gaze forward, make your little move forward. Now, as long as your knees allow, come into this little squat. If your knees don't allow this much flexion, this may not be an option for you. We won't be here long. Take those knees wide. Plant your hands. So I'm going to lift my bum up a little, bend my elbows a lot, lean forward and see if I can rest my knees and shin bones way up near my armpit, on my upper arm bones. So I'm going to shift forward. Now if my butt lifts too high, my face goes down. So I'm going to pull into core, zip your jeans, look forward. Start to shift forward. Claw the mat and see if you can start to lift those feet up. And find that Bakasana, that crow pose. Hold. And release. Let's take a seat. Shake it out. So if we're sitting up nice and tall, this works also if you have, it's really tough if you have a wall behind you. So if you sit up against a wall, wiggle your hips back. Now, if you don't have a wall really close, that's okay. You can be in the center of the floor, but just lift up through the spine. Find that elongation, but it's almost as if you've got your back up against a wall. So I'm wiggling my hips up to the baseboard. My fingers are going to come forward because I'm actually going to use these to help. I'm going to press my fingers forward. Sit up nice and tall, zip up your jeans, and see if you can lift your right heel off the floor. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Harder than it looks. Zip up those jeans, lift that left foot up. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and set it down. Shake that out. Now, if you want to, we're going to try both feet. When you're leaning up against a wall, it makes it much more challenging because you can't cheat. It's not going to let you lean back. So I'm going to use my fingers, draw in core, and try to lift both feet. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set them down. Shake that out. Those are tough. Those are really tough ones. Let's go ahead and make our way onto our backs. Rest your palms on your lower abdomen. You know where it's at now. Close your eyes a moment. And accept the breath into the lower belly. In through the nose, out through the nose. Starting to calm the nervous system. Our direct link to our nervous system is through the control of our breath.
Slow, even, deep diaphragmatic breathing triggers the parasympathetic nervous response in the body. So we begin to rest. Now release your hands down by your hips. Walk your heels in just a little closer towards your sits bones. Make sure your feet are facing straight ahead. Your knees are aligned. Gently zip up those jeans. It's not a gripping, it's a gentle engagement, and lift those hips up. Now lift your chin slightly away from the throat so that you maintain a natural, nice space behind the neck. You can wiggle your shoulder blades together. Checking if you've rolled to the outer edges of the feet. That's called supination. Press down into the big toe mounds of the feet. Take one more breath here. Let the shoulders widen and slowly release back down. Extend the legs out along the length of your mat. Draw your right knee into your chest. Guide your right knee across the body into a twist as you reach your right arm out. Drop your chin towards your right shoulder. And then bring the gaze center, bring yourself center, extend the leg. Hug the left knee in. Guide it across the body into a twist. Drop your chin towards your left shoulder. And bring your gaze back to center, come back to center. Hug both knees into your chest. If you would like, and it feels all right for your neck, curl your head up but relax your shoulders, stretch out the back of the neck, and release down, taking that length with you. Extending one leg at a time out along the length of the mat. Shimmy your shoulder blades gently underneath you so that you can release those arms out, palms up. Close your eyes.
I want to share with you a quote. Everything changes when you start to emit your own frequency, rather than absorbing the frequencies around you. When you start imprinting your intent on the universe, rather than receiving an imprint from existence. Be the energy you want to attract. Stay here as long as you need or as long as you want. Otherwise, I thank you for joining me for this core practice. You can do it in parts or do it in full, but I thank you. Love, light, and blessings. Namaste.